Hello. Good morning, everyone. I hope you've had a fantastic week thus far. We're going to get started with the final day of the conference, but do not be too sad, as you can now take the principles and the facts that you've learned here today and this week back to your school. You can always find upcoming YAF conferences and events at yaf.org/events and bring some of your friends with you next time. Our next speaker is a personal favorite of mine, and I feel he might be yours as well soon enough. Vince Everett Ellison was born on a cotton plantation in Haywood County, Tennessee. His parents at that time were sharecroppers. Through hard work and belief in Jesus Christ, his parents pulled him and his 7 siblings out of poverty. His family started the Ellison Family Gospel Singing Group, where Vince sang and played multiple instruments as a child and young adult. He worked for 5 years as a correctional officer at the Kirkland Correctional Institution in South Carolina. Afterward, Vince worked in the nonprofit arena. In 2019, Vince wrote the Amazon #1 bestseller, The Iron Triangle, inside the liberal Democratic plan to use race to divide Christians and America in their quest for power and how we can defeat them. He often appears on Hannity, Newsmax, and many other programs, and he writes articles for American Greatness and other publications. Vince is a member of Project 21. Please give a warm welcome to Vince Everett Ellison.
Oh, my people, my people, my people. You beautiful children. I mean, you guys are so much better than I was when I was your age. You're here at YAF. You're going to do great things. God bless you. Thank you for being here. Now, I know y'all been here all week. So has anybody heard the Ronald Reagan joke about the preacher and the politician? I don't want to give it if y'all have heard it. Okay, all right, okay. This is a Ronald Reagan joke of the preacher and the politician. Ronald Reagan says that a preacher and a politician both died. And they both went to heaven. When they got to heaven, St. Peter took them both around and showed them where they were going to be living. But the clergyman, Peter took him to his house, and it was a small home with 2 rooms and small bed and 1 bathroom, and told the clergyman, "This is your house for eternity." The clergyman was thankful, said, "Thank you so very much. I'm so happy to have this home." Well, the politician got kind of concerned. He said, "Oh, man, if a clergyman got this type of house, I don't know what I'm going to get. I might be living in a hole in the ground." So Peter took the clergyman to this house, and when they opened it up, it had these great, beautiful gates, and walked in, and manicured lawns and servants. He saw this big, beautiful mansion. The politician looked around, and Peter said, "This is where you're going to be living. All these servants, all of this house, all of these beautiful grounds." And the politician said, "St. Peter, I'm kind of confused. Why does the clergyman get the small house and I get this beautiful, large mansion?" And Peter looked at the politician and said, "Well, friend, you got to understand how we do things up here." He said, "We have thousands of clergymen up here in heaven, but you're the first politician that ever made it." That was Ronald Reagan. How could you not love a guy like that? Let me tell you guys a little bit about myself so you can understand a few things about me. There are some absolute truths that I know, being young, that you might be confused about. So let me clear them up for you, okay? This is what I believe. I believe that an XY chromosome equals man, XX chromosome equals woman, all right? I believe that your pronouns are he, she, him, and her. Those are your pronouns, all right? None of this other stuff, okay? I don't believe you can change your gender. I do not believe that men can have babies. I believe that life begins at conception. I believe that every able-bodied human being should work. And I do not believe that the left can control the weather, no matter what they tell you. If so, everybody would want to live in Santa Barbara, right? Look, y'all, we live in a strange time here in America. You know we're in trouble when a father can go to jail for spanking his son. but he can use federal money from Obamacare to castrate him and not getting any trouble. We're in trouble. The left knows this, but they do this because they are trying to destroy God. They're trying to destroy family. Why would they do that? Because the left does not want to share power with anyone. They are here for control. They are an evil institution. How do you define evil? Evil is defined very simply. I'm going to make it real easy for you for the rest of your lives. This is evil. Anyone who would intentionally harm a child is evil. Anyone that would castrate a little boy and call him a little girl is evil. If that's not evil, nothing is evil. If you give a double mastectomy to a little girl and call her a little boy, that's evil. There's nothing good about it. If you give a child puberty blockers, starting when they're young and screw them up for the rest of their lives, that's evil. To groom children in public education, having them believe that they can change their gender, that they can become a dog or a cat or anything they want to become, that's evil. We have to understand what evil is. We have to call it out the way Ronald Reagan called it out. He said that the Soviet Union reserves to itself the right to lie, to cheat, to commit any crime. He said that they were the focus of evil in the modern world. And he told Mr. Gorbachev to tear down that wall. And when he did that, the world responded to it. Right now, that definition that Ronald Reagan gave, they lie, they cheat, they commit any crime, they are the focus of evil in the modern world, that is reserved solely for the political left. Understand it. Don't be confused by it. Now, how did I come to these conclusions? As Bree said, I was born on a cotton plantation in the Jim Crow South. I'm talking about the real Jim Crow South, 1963. My father was a sharecropper on a cotton plantation behind a mule. They didn't even have tractors picking cotton, he and my mother. But my father aspired. He wanted to be more. He got involved in the insurance industry. He brought us out of poverty. I lived an upper middle class life the last 9 years of my childhood. Went to college. Then I started working in the prison industry. That's when, I thought that we'd all overcome, right? We shall overcome. I thought we'd overcome. When I started working in that prison, I saw that we had not overcome. That was during the 1990s with the Clinton and the Biden crime bill, when they were just locking up black men all over America. We went from having 3 prisons in South Carolina for almost 100 years to having, before the end of the 90s, about 40. It destroyed the black community, decimated it. Took fathers out of the house. I mean, they had the whole crack cocaine thing going on back then. And I started asking the black intelligentsia, I said, why are all of these young black men being locked up? And of course, old refrain, bunch of evil, rich white Republicans just hate black people. So I resigned my post. I started a nonprofit organization, went down into the black community to try to help these young black men stay out of prison. And I found something pretty interesting. When I got to the black community, I didn't see any evil, rich white Republicans anywhere. Matter of fact, you see a unicorn before you saw one. You see a leprechaun before you saw one. What did I see? I saw a bunch of black leftists making money off of the chaos. And the ones I saw, I call them the Iron Triangle. They were most black preachers, most black politicians, and most black civic organizers. And they were conduits for the liberal left. And their job was to go and get the black people to support them when they ran for office. That was their job, by hook or by crook. And they did it well. So I resigned my post, ran for office, and I wrote a book about it called The Iron Triangle. But something hit me. I was still kind of confused about what was going on. Colin Kaepernick was kneeling. Black people were angry. And I was trying to figure out what was happening. And so I went to the Lorraine Motel where Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated. And at the Lorraine Motel, I heard his I Have a Dream speech. And of course, they were looping it. It was going on and on and on and on and on. And I heard Dr. King say something. I've seen this speech 1,000 times. But it's like the great writer Thomas Wolfe said, you see a thing 1,000 times before you see it once. And I heard King say something in his speech that I'd heard 1,000 times, but this time it had a different effect on me. He said, 100 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, the Negro is still not free. That was a lie. I was born free. According to John Locke, my freedom is a gift from God. It is irrevocable, non-transferable, and unsellable. It is an unalienable right. This type of thinking started a retrogression in the Black community where we believed we had to go to government for our freedom, where we had to go to government to be taken care of. And this was nothing but a trap. Since that time, there has been no narrowing in the wealth gap between Black and white people since 1968. We have 10 times more Black men in prison. The Black family's been decimated. What did Jesus Christ say when his disciples asked him, how will we know the false prophets? He said, you will know them by their fruits. Not by what they do, not by what they say, but what they produce. You will not get rotten fruit from a good tree or good fruit from a rotten tree. Each tree and each fruit will be after its kind. So when you look at the Black community and you see the condition that it is in right now, if the fruit is rotten, the tree has to be rotten. And we have to deal with this. And now what they're doing is what they always do. Instead of taking responsibility for what they've done, they're deflecting. What do the communists say? The reason why we're poor and we don't have anything is because of America. Cuba, Venezuela, you name them. If they're broke, they blame America. What are they doing and what are the leftists are doing in America? It's America. It's not us. It's America. That is a lie. This is why you have to be brave. You have to be brave. They're going to call you out of your name. They're going to call you homophobic. They're going to call you racist. They're going to call you everything but a child of God. But you stand there and look them in the eye and go through them. You have to be brave. You have to have courage. You can have nothing in this world without courage. A coward and a loser has nothing but shame. Be courageous. Look them in the eye and tell them the truth as you know it. In our Bible, Genesis 3rd chapter, Cain had an attitude. He was mad because God had rejected his offering and had accepted the offering of his brother Abel. He was really livid. And God comes to Cain and he asks Cain, Cain, why are you angry? And it's interesting because what God gives Cain as advice is the advice that all of you should take to heart. It's the whole ball of wax. It is universal. It never changes. He said, Cain, why are you angry? If you do well, will you not be accepted? And if not, sin waits at the door to master you, but you must master it. The left has not done well. And because of it, they're angry. Sin waits at the door and it has mastered them. You cannot let it master you. Jesse Owens, a black man, goes down and makes Hitler look like a fool. He's given a ticker tape parade in 1930 in New York City. Joe Louis knocks out Max Schmeling in 1941. All of New York City applauds him because he did well. When you do well, the world will love you, the world will accept you. And all of this foolishness, all of this fighting, all of this strife, it will end. The left preaches envy. It preaches hatred. It preaches division. It never talks about love. And that's how you defeat them. You defeat them with love. George Orwell said, love creates a world that they cannot control. Do not fall into hatred. Do not fall into anger. See, I can't be concerned about how you view me. You can hate me. Call me anything you want to call me. However, I will love you. And ain't nothing you can do about it. So when they walk up to you and say, you're the cause of my poverty. You're the cause of me being in jail. You're the cause of whatever's going wrong with me. You tell them you are a slave looking for a master. I refuse to be your master. If you need a good job, I'll help you find one. If you need to learn a trade, I'll help you get one. If you need to go to school, I'll take you there. If you need a good preacher or a good priest or a good imam, I'll help you find one. But short of that, I'm going to help you to be a free man just as I am a free man. And if you can't deal with that, if you come and try to take anything from me or try to hurt anyone that I love or hurt me, I got two things that'll get you off my back. That's Jesus and my 38. Come try me. Be free. Stand free. Be brave. Be strong. You know, at the end of our Star Spangled Banner, it asks the question, does our Star Spangled Banner still wave over the land of the free and the home of the brave? Y'all, there can be no happiness without freedom. There can be no freedom without courage. So you have to be strong to be brave. You have to be brave to be free. You can't let these people shake you and make you run and make you give up just because they don't like you. You have to look them in the eyes, Ronald Reagan did. Stand strong. Challenge them. Always challenge. Never give in to their lies. Never give in to their deception. America is dying right now. Since 2007, we have lost 20% of our birth rate, and they're happy about it. They look at the black community and the chaos and the turmoil of the big cities. They don't apologize for it. They're proud of it. They're running for re-election on their record. To me, they should get knee pads and crawl and bow and apologize for ever being elected into office as far as I'm concerned. But you give us hope. You are the people that we depend on. You are the ones that stand in the gap. When I came here today and I looked at all of your young, beautiful faces, I said, there is hope for America. So y'all be brave. Look them in the eye. Never give up. And you'll see that America that I've always seen. The America that stands up, where Ronald Reagan said, the shining city on a hill, where the world looks up to it and says, that's where I want to be. You don't see people fighting to get into China and fighting to get into Mexico. They're fighting to get here. Why? Because of people like you. Because of children like you. So I'm a free man. I was born free. I'm going to die free. When they ask me, who are you? I say, my name is Vince Everett Ellison. I am a free man. And when I die, I have given my wife instructions to put on my tombstone, here lies Vince Everett Ellison, a free man. Thank you, children, so very much. God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, everyone, we have some time for some questions. So if you have a question for Mr. Ellison, please come up here, state your name and what school you go to, and ask a brief question.
Thank you. So my name is Tyler Bowen. I'm a student at the high school at Moore Park College. I'd like to ask you, how did your father get you out of poverty?
My father, as I said before, worked on a cotton plantation, and there was this rich black man, really, in Haywood County. His name was Al Rawls. He had an insurance company, a life insurance company, and a funeral home. And back in those days, most people in the South, especially black people, didn't have bank accounts to write checks and send their money in, and they weren't going to send cash through the mail. So Al Ross had this system where he would he would employ people to go on what he called a debit route. These people would go to the people who had policies with him and pick up their money every month. And if your life insurance policy was $5 a month, that person would come to your house on a certain day. He would knock on the door. Here for Al Ross. They give you the money. He'd mark it in the book. You collect the money, take it back to Mr. Ross. So as you could imagine, some people would steal money. And my dad was working in the cotton field, and he was working at a sawmill. And the man that was running Mr. Ross's business noticed when he drove past this sawmill every day that my dad was there almost an hour early. And he always wondered who this young man was that showed up before everybody else showed up. And one day, after firing a few people, he stopped by the sawmill and asked the guy who was running it, "What man owns that truck?" And he said, "This young man here." And he brought my father out. And because my dad showed up early every day, he believed he could be trusted. And he asked him if he wanted to work for Al Ross. And my dad said, "Oh, yeah, who wouldn't?" And so Dad comes out, he gets the job. He started learning the insurance industry. He started writing policies, and he opened up his own agency, and that's how we did it. Him just being an honest man, showing up early, staying late, working hard, having character, believing in God, and you'll be amazed how these universal laws will come in effect and will help you rise up above everyone else. That's how he did it. Thank you for the question.
Hey, my name is Nathan Thomas,
Hey, Nathan.
and I'm a homeschooler from Blythe, California.
All right.
My question is, do you have any stories from your life and experience that give you hope for America's future, maybe in this area?
Oh, yes. Look, my whole family is the quintessential American dream. From my father and my mother to me and my siblings. I've written 2 best-selling books. My first book, Iron Triangle, was self-published. My second book, I got a publishing contract with Post Hill, Simon & Schuster. I've been on Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, Laura Ingraham. I'm here with you beautiful people today. My brother Marvin is the CEO of Lowe's Department Store, chairman of Lowe's. My 3 sisters graduated college. My daughter is, and her husband have a church, and they just had a new little baby boy named Josiah. All I see around me is success. I'm around these beautiful people that do great things. Why? I choose not to be around mess. If you want to get pushed away from me, come to me with negativity. Come to me complaining. Come to me talking foolishness. My best advice for you young, beautiful people is to draw good people to you. Push bad people away. Color, race, all of that means nothing. There are good people. There are bad people, period. Collect good people, deject bad people, and watch your life be beautiful.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Daniela Thomas. I'm from Blythe, California,
Hi.
Nathan's sister.
Oh, okay.
And so I struggle a lot with speaking up a lot of the time. And I was wondering if you had any tips for having courage or moments in your life when you felt yourself breaking out of your shell and truly speaking up for yourself.
I always do that when it comes to my religious faith. It gives me courage because I know it's right. What I do when I have these conversations with people, I know that 85% of black people are Christian. 75, 80% of white people are Christian. And when I start my conversations, I ask them, what is your faith? And if they say Christian, I'll own them after that. Because we are supposed to have a basic concept of right and wrong as Christians. If you're Muslim, same thing. Jewish, same thing. You're people of the book. And we all have these basic ideas of what right and wrong are. And you start the conversation there. And believe me, when you start it there, you will be amazed how quickly you come together, because most people know their faith. And whether you're Jewish, Muslim, Christian, when you start talking about the basic concepts of faith, belief in God, treating people correctly, understanding what marriage and family is, understanding that life begins at conception, understanding the basic concept that if a person tells you, give me this gun, I'm going to go kill this guy across the street. You give it to him knowing he's going to kill somebody. When he kills the guy and the police find out you gave him the gun, you're going to go to jail with him. Well, if you have a politician running for office and he tells you, I'm going to kill children, I'm going to have abortion up to the 9th month. If you vote for me, I'm going to do it. And you say, really? Yes, I am. And you vote for him? How are you not complicit in murder? How? He told you he was going to do it if you voted for him. You say, here's my vote. He does it. And they tell you this lie that if you stand in front of God, you're not going to be held accountable for that vote. Of all the terrible things that the left does to us, that is the biggest lie. They tell us we have no right, that we don't have to apologize, we don't have to repent. They tell us to live in pride, to live in envy, to live in hatred. And as people of the book, we are all supposed to shun that. We're supposed to love one another. And if your courage comes from anywhere, let it come from love. You tell your friend the truth. It's that good friend that'll go see a friend on drugs and go get him and say, man, look, you're on crack. I'm going to get you off. If I have to tie you to the radiator in the house, you're getting off. If he sees his friend is just shoveled and a liar, he says, man, you're lying. Now I'm not going to stand behind you with that. I can't go with you no further. If his friend says, hey, man, I'm going to go rob this house. Let's go. I'm not going there with you, and I'm not going to let you go. That's the type of friend to have. Be courageous, tell the truth, and if they reject the truth, you've done what God told you to do. Jesus couldn't make anybody do anything. When a rich young ruler came there and said, hey, man, he said, sell everything you have and follow me. When the guy walked off, Christ didn't follow him. See ya. Tell them the truth. And if they don't want to hear the truth, you don't want them as a friend anyway. Love them. See you later.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, I'm Diego Duarte. I'm from
Jay.
Christian High School, which is in San Diego, California. And I would like to ask you, so since so many people, such in the African American community or other groups of people, have like this victim mentality mindset where like they're the victim and they're like suppressed by systematic racism in America or other like problems, and they really want to depend and rely like on the government and get the government's job to help them get out of like tough financial situations or any other problems. What would you say would be the best way to like help these people break out of this victim mentality and like actually take responsibility like for their life and actually get themselves out of those situations to rely on the government?
Oh, that's a very good question. Thank you for the question. Look, same thing again. 85, 90% of black people say they're Christian. I asked them a basic question. And you know, the young black men got a lot of swag and a lot of machismo about them, right? You ask the question, you're an heir of Jesus Christ and you're a son of God. Yes, I am. How can you be a victim? If you're a Christian, didn't Jesus say he'll supply all of your needs? Yes, why you need the government? Well, but, it's no buts to that, player. Show me the but in the Bible. It tells why you are at the bottom of every socioeconomic statistic in America. It's because you say you believe and you do not believe. There are no buts to this. Everybody that I know that lives by this concept does well. But as soon as you say, I believe it, and then when it comes to action, you don't believe it, you're a hypocrite and you're a liar. You are where you are because you've decided to depend on government and not God. As I've told you, my father got out of poverty through hard work, through believing in Jesus Christ. Same with me. My wife's an attorney. I told you again, my brother's a CEO. I have a brother-in-law that graduated West Point. He's a doctor. I have a sister-in-law that won a gold and a silver medal in the Olympics. All of these people have done well. Why? Because they believe. And you tell them the truth. If you are a Christian, this is what you are supposed to believe. And if you don't, watch what happens to your life. That's why the black community, and I'm going to tell you the truth, the black preacher the one that is really supposed to be teaching them this is the biggest problem. They've gotten involved in this black liberation theology thing, where they've started teaching this racism and this hatred in these churches, telling them that Jesus Christ would identify with black people and not white people because Jesus was oppressed and Jesus was despised like we were, and that Jesus would want us to fight for equality and all of this type of foolishness. No, Jesus wants you to have a relationship with him. He wants you to love one another. He doesn't want you to be running around marching. No justice, no peace. When he says, I give you peace, before he left, he said, my peace is what I leave with you. So when you say no justice, no peace, you're giving man your peace. A gift that God gave you, you're giving to man. Outburning, hatred, envy. The 10th commandment is what? Thou shalt not covet. We want this, we want that, and we want you to pay for it. When they start talking about reparations, I bring up the Homestead Act, 1865. Every able-bodied man could go out over to the west and get close to 100 acres of land if he was willing to work it. They said only 5,000 black slaves came and grabbed hold to the Homestead Act. Why? Because they made a decision to stay with their master. And they want to say that you are the cause of their problems. No. Stop accepting it. Stop apologizing. Look him in his eye and say, if you want to see the person who is responsible for your problems, let me put my phone here, look at it. It's you. And then turn around and do your pimp walk off. Thanks for the question, man.
Hi, my name's Tiana Radosovchev. I'm from Simi Valley, California, and I attend Trinity Pacific Christian School. How can we try to educate and spill the truth in a loving way to leftists that are really closed-minded and just full of hatred, specifically in abortion?
Yeah. Some of these people are not going to change. Jesus called it pearl to swine. Nothing you can do to change them. The Bible tells us that he went into some cities and could save no one because the people didn't have any faith. It took me a while to learn that sometimes facts just don't matter. People that are consumed with hate and victimization are going to die that way. You have some, though, in the middle that you can change. And you should direct all of your efforts toward them. You put it out there, you talk, and the good people will hear your voice and they will come to you. The quote, how can they hear without a preacher, is very true. Y'all showed up. You beautiful children showed up. Why? The clarion call went out and you showed up. The people watching us live stream showed up. The people that go to church on Sunday, the ones that vote their values, they show up. And people are listening. If you ought to be a free man, you must educate yourself. But to a person that does not want to listen, y'all have heard that old saying. You've heard it so many times it doesn't make any, you don't even listen to it anymore. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. That's exactly what that means. You can, when people get demoralized to a point where they just no longer care, I've seen it. I've seen people, C.S. Lewis said, the hell is a choice. And when he said that, I said, man, what is C.S. talking about? How can hell be a choice? And then when I started looking around society, I saw people choosing hell every day. I saw the person that was morbidly obese that didn't want to go to have a diet or go to the gym. I saw the person on drugs that would not go to drug rehab. I saw people that would vote for politicians and people that held them in bondage, having them living in squalor, choosing hell. Some people are just going to choose hell. And when you see that that's where they're going, like I said again, the only thing you can do is pray for them, love them, and when they come to you for help, give them the help. Short of that, don't waste your time.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Cassidy Hassel. I'm from California. I was just wondering, I have a cousin who is about 9 years old. She goes to public school, and she's made to feel like she's a bad person because she accidentally misgendered one of her classmates who is a girl but identifying as a boy. So I was wondering, how can I stand up for other people? You know, you mentioned about being brave for yourself, but how can I stand up for little 9-year-olds who are being told that they're transphobic because they're misgendering one of their classmates?
This is so sad what they're doing to children in school now. It's just so very, very sad. I mean, all I can tell parents this. You should vote for any politician, I don't care what his party, that is talking about school choice. We need to get our children out of public education. When you find that's going on, you need to have a way to pull your child out. I don't care if you homeschool them. I do not care if you send them to a private school or if you send them to a group school. The federal government has now decided to go to war against its own citizens. Somehow or another, they've forgotten our Constitution. First part of the Constitution with the articles, it tells us what the government can do. Navies, armies, coin money, post offices, things like that. The second part of the Constitution is a Bill of Rights. And these Bill of Rights tell the government what it cannot do. That's the Bill of Rights. Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. And somehow or another, they took that to mean that Congress could prohibit religion. This is a religious liberty issue. They have no right to try to pull that child out of the ways and the thinking and religion of our parents. No right at all. Sadly, all we can do with this is gird our children up with the truth, tell them to be brave, tell them that God wants them to be brave, God wants them to tell the truth, and that nobody's going to harm you if you tell the truth. No one will harm you. This is your test. Stand up, be brave, look them in the eye. Be like Andrew Jackson when he was 9 years old, and this British officer told him to clean the horse crap off of his boots, and he refused. And the guy slashed him across his face with a saber, and Andrew Jackson never forgot it, and he got his revenge in the War of 1812, the Battle of New Orleans. Stand up and be brave, and tell her, God will bless you. If you stand with him in the midst of an angry crowd, believe me, you'll be blessed. And you'll do great things in your life by showing that type of courage. Talk courage to her. Talk God to her. She'll understand it, and she'll do exactly what you tell her.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, Vince. My name's Kyle Fairby. I'm part of the team here at National AF. Thank you for making it out this morning. I've got a question that I think might be valuable for a lot of our students. Much like when a male tries to comment on abortion, oftentimes in their classrooms, their teachers will ostracize white students when she starts talking about Black Lives Matter. And a lot of these students might have questions, exactly what you brought up, but might not know how to approach the issue in the classroom or amongst their peers who might try to say, well, you're white, you don't know any of the problems that we're facing. So could you give any advice to our students for how they can effectively communicate to their peers and in their classrooms to help show that, no, I do have a point here and that what you're talking about is maybe not the right direction?
Sure. Thank you so much. It's a good question. Look, we deal with our commonality. And my commonality with every American is one of two things. Either I'm a citizen of this nation or I am a Christian. And when I talk about issues, that's why I'm so effective. I talk about this commonality of being a Christian and being an American. And when you talk on these issues, you're not dealing with black and white any longer. You're dealing with something that both of you have in common. We have in common the fact that we're Americans. We have in common the fact that we were born free and that this freedom was a gift from God. We have in common the fact that we have a constitution that we all live under and that we all agree to live under. You talk to them in the concept of Christianity, freedom, and the Constitution, and see if they can come back on you. When they start talking about I am black and I'm oppressed, you say, are you a Christian? Yes, I am. Then you cannot be oppressed if you're a child of God. It's an impossibility. How can you be oppressed when you are a child of God? How can you be a victim when Jesus Christ is your father? You're choosing to be a victim. And that's the only way you can be one. Well, I'm an American. Well, if you are an American, you know you were born free. Your freedom is an unalienable right given you by God. Our Declaration of Independence says that if you think that this government is not protecting your freedom, we're supposed to take it and we're supposed to overturn it. How is this government not protecting your freedom? You have the freedom of protest. You have the freedom of speech. You have the freedom to come and go as you please. What are you mad about? No, you're full of envy and hatred, and you are a hypocrite, and you don't believe what you say you believe. You're not a Christian. You're not American. Why don't you get it in a plane or a boat and go to Cuba, where you don't have to be either a Christian or an American, and see how you like it. Don't play with them. Don't talk about color. Don't play with the victim card with them when they say, you don't know my life, you don't know this, you don't know mine. I'm telling you that you are free. You are telling me that you are a slave. Isn't this something? I'm telling you that you're free. You're telling me you're not. I'm telling you that God will take care of all of your needs if you believe in him. You're telling me he won't. You'll win the discussion every time. And if they don't believe they are, if they're an atheist and they don't say they're an American, tell them, I don't need to waste any time with you anyway. You're a non-issue.
Thank you.
That's how you deal with them.
We have time for one more question.
Sure.
Hello, my name is Allie, and I am on staff here at the center. I have a question about race. Like, obviously, it's a huge hot topic today, and I wanted to know why the idea of true equality that conservatives promote, why is it not resonating with people today?
Yeah, it's people don't want true equality under the law. They want true equality in outcomes. All we are supposed to give you in the United States of America is equality and opportunity. And you put two teams on the field, right? And the referee is there to make sure the game is played based on the rules. He's not supposed to have anything to do with the outcome. He's supposed to be the referee, and that's the government. They want the government or the referee to skew it in their favor. They want to play the game, but they want the referee to give points to them before the game starts. Or if they get behind, stop the game and add more points. And you're saying it doesn't work that way. This is the game. This is the game that we've all agreed to play. These are the rules to the game. But the left is telling them, no, you should be given special points because we believe that you're inferior. Look, but the left is going to always be something. You're too black, you're too white, you're too tall, you're too short, you're too skinny, your feet too big, you're too pretty, you're too ugly, you're hurt. All of us are. Government cannot fix it. You have to decide to say, this is who I am. God has given all of us gifts. I see nobody superior or inferior. I see brothers and sisters. All of us have gifts. A good HVAC man, a good transmission man, a good lawyer, a good doctor, a good plumber. And when we find these gifts and we elevate these gifts, isn't the world a beautiful place? Instead, they want you to envy one another. They want you to hate one another. They want you to believe that if you got something, or if I have more than you, your job is to hate me and then use the government to come try to take it from me. They will actually tell you that because you are black or because you're a woman or because of something else. That you have a right to go and use the government as a stick-up man to go and steal from your neighbor. Don't fall for the lie. Nobody's going to be the richest man in the world forever. Elon Musk is there, he's going to fall. Bill Gates was there for a reason, he failed. We're going to always have, somebody's going to have more. Somebody's going to be better looking, somebody's going to have a bigger car, somebody's going to have a bigger house, somebody's going to have more money. It's going to happen. But when you get your peace about you, when you get a peace that transcends all understanding, like when we went to the Reagan Ranch yesterday, and you saw Ronald Reagan, the most powerful man in the world, his house, it's not this big mansion like at Versailles. The humbleness of this man showed that he had an inner peace about him that transcended all understanding. He was who he was because he was just who he was, a free man. And when you young people go out there and talk about how you're elevated, talk about freedom, talk about peace, but first of all, you talk about courage. And you have to be strong to be courageous and free. And you be that. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you.